what's up with Sean Baligian?
What up, this is Joyce Bell here on the Baligian and Bell Show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network. Good morning. How are you? Sean Baligian with you on Woodward Sports. It's the Baligian and Bell Show. Playing the role of Joyce Bell today is Scott Bischoff. I wanted to start the show with a public proclamation, okay? When I did the Maz imitation yesterday, there was no harm intended. Like, Tom, if you're watching, here's my message to Maz. Maz, there was no disrespect intended there, okay? What are you talking about? No, listen to me. Maz, listen to me. Scott, I think it's endearing that there are guys out there that always look on the bright side of life. Maz is one of those guys, like, the Tigers are going to stink. What are you talking about? They're going to win the division. Maz, why do you, based on what? Because that's what I think. He's a glass, you know how they use the term, the glass is half full? He's a glass is 11/10 full. He is. The cup overfloweth. So, Maz, buddy, I love, no disrespect intended. I don't want anybody to think that. I'm serious. All right? So, Art, a couple people have said to me,
I know.
Like, I don't want anybody to think that.
But
okay?
Maz, what do you think about the chairs?
I think the chairs are terrible. I said from day one.
But what about the microphones, Maz?
Stick owes me an apology. Danny Zuko here. Now, you have...
You still seeing Sandy?
Fish has been Sandy. Fish, you've been an investigative reporter on what's going on and everything, right? Is that true?
I walk in yesterday at 2:45. Oh yeah, good call.
All right, good.
I'm heading to Florida. I took a bit of a detour in the Caribbeans, but we're making our way perfectly.
Outer Banks on your left?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I walk in at 2:45 and I see Stick and Maz right where Scott is, and Maz is like, "Hey, Stick, you owe me an apology. These mics, you said you liked the old ones. These are the ones I wanted from day one." Okay.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
So is Maz really denying that he wasn't for these chairs? Is that a real?
Yeah,
because I haven't had a conversation with him.
and D-Mac believes him.
Verify that?
Yeah, so from what I'm understanding, he said that he ordered chairs with wheels, and these ones magically came without wheels, and it wasn't his problem. He also has complained about the headphone input jack on the mics, the mic quality, the list goes on.
That's another good one.
I had no idea this
That's
was
a
gonna
good
happen.
one.
Hey, Scott, real quick, are you happy here? Is everything all right? I just want to make sure.
I'm great.
If you have any complaints, feel free to do them now.
No, I'm good. It's warm, but I mean, other than that, we're good.
Okay,
Things are good.
all right.
It
Should
is
I be
warm in
complaining?
here. Have we mentioned it's warm in here?
Yeah. This was not a great choice.
Hey, what shirt are you wearing right now?
It's
What shirt is that, Scott?
Stony Creek High School.
I wanted
pullover.
you to give yourself a little shout out to
Yeah.
Rochester Stony Creek.
It was, so it's the thinnest thing I could possibly put on, and it was still a bad choice.
Why? Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Listen, if you guys,
Anybody have any scissors?
I'm rolling in shorts today. The only thing missing, seriously, is my Adidas flip flops.
Baligian in vacation mode is a dangerous thing.
It's a problem.
Yes.
I was making poems this morning. You know how I'm prone to make poems, Scott?
Do you write them?
I think you know that I write poems. I don't know if you guys knew that. I love to make poetry, and I really like to use haikus. I was sending poems and haikus to my son this morning over how soon we drink and what we're going to drink.
Can you?
I can't
repeat
share
one?
most of them. But
Share a little bit
just
for
one?
the audience.
No. Well, he's a big Muse fan. I don't. Do you know Muse? He loved. That's his
been
favorite
going on
band.
for a long time.
Are you serious?
He partied with those guys.
I will tell you this: the greatest concert experience of my life was Muse, not only at Joe Louis Arena but at Little Caesars Arena. I like your son. He's good people.
Yeah, he partied with those guys. True story.
Wow.
He has pictures with Matt Smith? Is
Yeah,
that the guy's
yeah,
name?
Matt.
Yeah, he has pictures of him and Matt Smith and everything.
Wow.
So they have a song Uprising, right? Where I don't know what the words are. They will not bite us or whatever. He just yells a bunch of.
Close enough.
I was singing. I will drink Corona.
I will drink
your nachos.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we were doing.
Tell me.
Getting caught on the mic.
Yeah.
That was his
I think this
mistake.
is a very common thing. You know when it was
very common thing.
revealed? Two things. There was a recording of a refs meeting right before a game. It was a playoff game. And I was stunned at what they were saying. We want to look for this. We want to, hey, this guy from such and such team likes to do this, so make sure you're looking for it. And it's kind of weird that they're looking for things. I think it's a very common thing. And then the Alex Burrows from Vancouver thing was super eye-opening for me. It was like, wait a minute.
You know where he is now, right?
I don't know where he is.
Assistant coach of the Montreal Canadiens.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a very strange scenario, what happened to him before that game where the officials skated around with him.
Yep.
Now, whether what Burrows said is to be believed, that's another story, but I don't think it's unrealistic to think that what he said was true.
Well, and here's what the bottom line truth to this. I mean, look, this stuff is said all the time. There are these guys. I feel sorry for officials. I really do. Okay, because most of the time when we hear their name is when they screw up. Okay, these guys are expected to be robots, and they're not robots. They aren't. They're human beings. Okay, and they get chirped at, and they're not supposed to chirp back, but a lot of them do. And they're not supposed to take things personally, but
they're human beings.
They're human beings, and of course they're going to take things personally, especially if a referee has been burned by somebody else. Like Art, let's say last week we had a game, all right, and the Columbus Blue Jackets were playing the Nashville Predators. And he made a call on somebody from the Columbus Blue Jackets because he looked over and saw the tail end of a play, you flopping on the ice like your fish, okay? And he makes a call, all right? If you took a dive to sell that, he's going to see after the game. He's going to go,
Can't believe I fell for that one.
I fell for that. My bad. And you know what? He's going to make a mental note of that.
I mean,
it's like
people.
the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
The next time he sees you do that, he's going to go, hey, Art, sorry, man. You got me last week. I'm not falling for it this time.
Let me ask you real quick. Out of how many refs, if you've got 10 refs in the NHL, how many of them are doing what Tim did last night?
10.
10.
Wow.
Without hesitation.
It's
10.
not just in the NHL. It's,
10.
It's just how it is.
That's the way it is. I mean, really.
The mistake last night was referring to Nashville as a team and not necessarily talking about a player.
Yep.
So it felt more like
Yep.
I've got it in for this
That's
team.
That's exactly it.
And that's problematic.
That is big time problematic.
I would pull up the clip, but the NHL is actively deleting all of them on Twitter. You can't find a clip.
Max
so.
said, does his proximity to retirement have any bearing on how the NHL levied the penalty? I'm convinced it does.
Yeah.
You'll never hear that. In a million years, you'll never hear that.
Did they pay
Never.
him to go away for a little while? Probably.
We know a lot about that in this state. I'm sorry it was there. Don't get mad at me.
Vacation Sean is
Art,
dangerous.
that was for you. Yeah, we know a lot about that around here. I honestly, I think that has, you know what, it gives them a good opportunity to say, see, we're doing something about this. We take this very seriously. And here's a guy that is planning to call her quits anyways in just a couple months.
But he paid for his mistakes. I mean, look, he's paid for his mistakes before.
Oh,
this is
here we
him
go.
getting hit in the nuts.
Look out.
Oof. Maybe a headshot.
That's a big save right there. Oh, that went in the net. I remember that. Was that Luongo?
Poor Bobby Lou.
Yeah.
Look at Bobby Lou. There he
was
is. It
great.
is Bobby Lou. Watch this again.
Hey, that's a redirection, man. You can't see that
That's
coming.
a great redirect.
And that was not a nut shot. That was a clear headshot. Watching it again, I mean, right in the helmet. Boom.
That's just brutal.
Wow.
So listen, guys, it happens. And unfortunately, you know what has become perpetuated, especially in our fine town? There are certain broadcasters that have convinced their fan base that the league is out to get their team.
Really?
That happens. And you know what? It happens, I would think, in most towns, but I think in this town, that has been a... Do you know how many times in the course of doing some kind of show in the media, whether it be on television, you know, when we would do those hockey shows on Fox 2, which were a blast, shout out to Dan Miller, or doing Ice Time back in the day on the radio. Do you know how many times I had to deal with somebody either after we got off the air or while we're on the air doing the radio side where the guy calls in like a maniac yelling and screaming, why does this league have it out for the Red Wings? And more often than not, they don't use the term this league. They use, why does Bettman hate the Red Wings? Because Bettman just sits at home. I don't know if you know this. I'll find the video footage one day. He's got like voodoo dolls dressed in Red Wing jerseys, and he sticks pins in them, and he has like writings all over his, you know, the room in his house that say, "I'll get you Red Wings" and all that stuff.
Laces out.
But that stuff laces out. That stuff gets perpetuated, and this doesn't help that out.
Here is a breaking footage of the NHL actively doing something about the refereeing.
That is well done right there by that guy.
Working hard.
Go on. Is that Rip Torn?
Come on, I gotta get out of here and smoke my
He's gonna
smokes.
throw a wrench.
Doesn't that look like that? Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like Rip Torn. He's going to throw a wrench at somebody. Going to teach him. We're going to learn about volleyball or dodge him, and we're going to learn to dodge. Look at that. It's Rip Torn.
It's crazy.
What was the name? Why can't I think of the name of that movie?
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah.
it. Pretty good movie.
I don't know about that.
You don't like it? You don't like
It
comedy?
was okay. Oh, I don't like comedy. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of laughing.
You know what we did? All right, time out. You know what we did the other day? We went down that. How did that start, Art, when we went down the run of Will Ferrell movies for like a 6 or 7 year span that were just and like what an incredible run that was.
And it started with Elf.
Yeah, I mean, really, it was an incredible run.
It was Elf and Old School that kicked it off for him.
Yeah.
You're my boy, Blue!
And it was just movie after, like the other night, like seriously, I'm done watching hockey the other night, and my son's in the front room watching Talladega Nights. And I go, well, I know what I'm doing. How much is left in this movie? Hour and 10 minutes. I know what I'm doing the next hour and 10 minutes.
Blades of Glory.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yep.
There are so many little scenes in that movie that just make you cry.
The scene from Step Brothers where they're in the car
Don't get me
after
started.
they wrecked the boat, and Will Ferrell comes into the house yelling at the old man. It's a minute and a half of just comedy gold.
When they announce that they're getting the divorce and they both start crying, I don't know.
think I'm gonna throw up.
You guys missed out on one of the best ones, Anchorman. Anchorman.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, did you know Will Ferrell's 6'3"?
I never knew that.
He's a big boy.
Yeah?
You know who that's
He's a runner.
allegedly based off of, right? Longtime WDIV broadcaster Mort Krim, who just always seemed like the classiest dude.
Yeah.
It didn't like that didn't stress. I'm sorry. I told
Some
you
of the
guys,
outtakes of Mort are
pound for pound, I'll take Step Brothers. Like out of that whole
Yeah.
group, pound for pound, Step Brothers just makes me absolutely cry.
I agree.
In the woods.
This was
Would
such a bad
you
idea.
like to do a couple before we go to break, some Will Ferrell trivia? Would you?
Yes.
He was a
Okay.
bank teller at Wells Fargo, so that's interesting. He also completed the Boston Marathon, and he is married to a Swedish woman. So there you go. So there's some. We're in vacation mode, and I'm not
Okay.
even going on vacation.
I thought we were going to answer the questions, but who knew?
All right. Do you know what's funny? This came up a couple months ago on Twitter, and my buddy, our buddy Rico Beard, did not know this. All right. Vince Vaughn, comedy guy, was in a lot of those movies and everything. You know he was in Rudy, right?
Yeah, he was the running back who just wasted his
Jamie
talent.
O'Hara. Like people are going, you're lying. Like Rico thought that I was being mean.
Yeah.
Because I've been known to be a wiseacre and everything, and I go Rico. That's so he tweeted at me. He goes, holy crap! I'll never watch. I've seen that movie 10,000 times. I'll never watch that movie the same way again.
Yeah.
Like he was Jamie O'Hara, the 5-star recruit who busted out and everything, and then did a favor for Rudy at the end of the
did.
game. Yeah. It's kind of funny. Steve said, it's okay not to like Elf. It's not great to me either.
Yeah, it's just one of the best Christmas movies of all time, but sure.
You know what's funny? I told what movie were you talking about where people got so mad at me a couple months ago? The baseball movie. Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls.
The Sandlot.
It's okay.
You're okay. How about
Yeah,
that?
right?
I will fight you.
No, but like that's what I'm. People got so mad.
You're gonna
at
go
me.
on that airplane in a neck brace if you keep going.
It's okay.
How?
Have you seen A League of Their
People put
Own?
this on this pedestal, like with Gone with the Wind, Citizen Kane, The Sandlot.
What do you think of A League of
No!
Their Own? Good movie?
What's that?
A League of Their Own.
I liked A League of Their Own better.
I
than
cannot
Sandlot.
watch that movie.
Really?
No, I can't.
It's a
But
terrible movie. It really is. A League of Their Own.
We're
It's
done.
not a good movie.
We're done. I cry. I will cry every single time at that movie. I don't know why.
It's
I don't
not
know.
The Sandlot.
Stop it.
No, Steve. It's okay not to like Elf. It's not great to. Yeah, like to each your own. I don't
Whatever.
get offended. Like Elf is one of those movies. So like you said at Christmas time. So what happens is, you know how in Art you have kids. They have the 25 Days of Christmas, and then they also have the new one now on AMC. The last couple of years, it's called Best Christmas Ever, and it's on loop on AMC. I mean, it's on all the
I have
that
to
and Christmas Vacation.
Confess, I have never seen Elf
Oh!
in its entirety.
Now we are done.
I
Listen, I'll
haven't.
see you guys next Thursday. Everybody be safe.
I'm just
be
being
nice to
honest.
each other.
Hang on,
I
one
figured,
last one here, and if we all do not agree, I will riot. There will be broken bones in here. A Christmas Story is the greatest Christmas movie of all time. Right? Can we please go to break? I'd like to go to break, and I'd like to formally quit. I'm done. Mike is
Okay,
off.
you know what
He's
I'm going
out.
to say?
Apparently he's out.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say the same dynamic with that movie is what I'm feeling about the same. It's all right. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, but people just go. Listen to me, Art. You know what? I'll go George Bailey all day. I don't care if it's black and white. And I'll also add this. I will. Mary Bailey is smoking hot.
We're not talking about alcohol right now, Sean. Who is Bailey's? What are we talking? No.
Oh,
Who?
man.
Never heard of her.
Oh,
Donna Reed?
Never heard of him.
She's.
Two old people,
Oh, dude.
not so old person.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't even know where we are anymore.
It's vacation mode. There are no
terrible.
rules.
All right.
This is terrible.
All right, we're going to talk about the Jared Goff contract. What does it mean? Okay? You know what it means to me? Nothing. Seriously. It does mean something to Scott, though. But maybe our starting point was, we'll explain it when we come back. Just stick with us, okay? He's Scott Bischoff. I'm so glad that he's here with us. Shout out to my boy Joik Bell. We will see you soon, pal. Don't go anywhere. It's Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Hello. How are you? See, now it started. Dennis said, Sean, It's a Wonderful Life is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. See, Art, what you said about Christmas Story, there's It's a Wonderful Life and there's everything else. That's just, sorry. I don't know what else.
Listen, I don't know if you guys know this. Here's a fun fact. There's these things called color TVs. They're great. Okay, there's also these things called new movies. Stop telling me to watch Godfather. I'm never going to watch it. Stop telling me to watch a Christmas, whatever Christmas movie.
I
I'm not
haven't
going to
seen
watch
that
it.
movie in its entirety either.
What?
I don't even want to admit it.
Are you talking Godfather?
No, I haven't seen those.
Now Maz is going
And
to be
I
in
have
here.
not
Maz is
seen-
gonna be
I haven't watched it either. Hey, there's these.
I haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life in its entirety.
What is a Star War? What is a Star War? Watch movies that are
I
70
feel
years
really
old.
bad about myself right now.
Okay, listen.
Let's talk about Jared Goff.
All right,
Let's
so-
get away from the movie.
Yeah.
Yes, Jared Goff, in case you missed it, the Lions clear $15 million in cap space. $20 million of his base salary is a signing bonus to create some space. That's great. That's fantastic. The Lions need some space. Let me start with my vantage point first, okay? And I think we've been pretty consistent about this here. I've been in the camp that Jared Goff is going to be their quarterback for 2 years, and then they're going to move on. And as I've said 100 times, that doesn't mean that they're not going to take their franchise quarterback this year. It doesn't mean that they aren't going to take their franchise quarterback next year. They have that option. Hell, if they want, Scott, legitimately, they could take their franchise quarterback the year after. They could take their franchise quarterback in 2023. But I think I've been, if you guys have watched this, I think I've been pretty consistent. I think he's a placeholder. I think he's going to be here for 2 years. And then the quarterback of the future will be here. Okay, but that remains to be seen. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm right, even though I know I'm right. But with that being said, Scott, what was your opinion when this happened?
So, like a month ago here, I talked about how they had the opportunity to get away from him after 1 year. I did. And everything I said then turned out to be bullshit. It just did. I know I owe $1.
There it is. My fresh
I'll get
dollar
it.
for Art is sitting right on top.
So I think they are, at this point in time, they're tied to him for 2 years minimum.
Yep.
And the expectation around potentially picking a quarterback was that they would be tied to him for 1 year. But with them pushing $5 million into 2022, making his dead cap hit around $21 million, I believe now, and $5 million in 2023 and $5 million in 2024. I don't think the $5 million matters so much in those 2 last years, but the second year of 2 years from now, that money does matter.
Absolutely.
So now it makes me question whether they even desire to get away from him after 1 year. I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
So a couple of things that instantly for me is, what are you clearing all this money for? Right? I mean, we know that it has an impact 2 seasons from now, but what's the point of clearing $15 million right now? What are they going to do with that money? I know they have to sign their rookies and all that stuff, but there is going to be a second wave of free agency, and there will be some players, some vested veteran guys, some older players who are still very effective, who are going to get cut during and around camp time, and maybe they're keeping money open for that scenario. But it's hard for me to think that they're opening up this money for no reason. There's a reason they're doing it. I don't know what it is, but it does hamstring them for the 2022 season.
Well, this is what's interesting about this, and Scott, you and I were talking about this before the show, and Larry, I hope you take this in the context in which I'm saying it. I appreciate guys like yourself and Maz that are always looking on the bright side and all that. Like, I'm serious, all right? I'm a goofball, but I'm being, like, I appreciate people being fans and saying, I think Larry said he thinks they're going to be 10-6. I forget, Larry, and go to the playoffs this year, and this is a retool as opposed to a rebuild. And like Scott, I have no other way to say this. Maybe you can say it more succinctly and better than I can. If you can't look at what's going on with the Detroit Lions right now and fully accept that this is a rebuild and that this is a team that's building for, quite frankly, 2 years from now, I don't know how to adequately explain it to people. Everything is pointing that way. I mean, it really is, but I'll let you accentuate
Well, I mean, I think that's a very fair way to look at it. Is do we think they're going to be competitive now? I think they're going to be more competitive than perhaps we thought, but there's still a void of talent in that room. And not just one spot or two spots, but all around. The Goff stuff it's intriguing. I think in a perfect world, Goff works and he's your long-term quarterback. But there's nothing that anybody could say that would convert or turn or change anybody's opinion. What makes you think that Goff is the guy long term? I mean, if he is, you have 5 first-round picks in the next 3 years, of which you can load up. And if he is that guy, you'll pay him a huge contract in 2 seasons. Why are you laughing? Why are you smiling at me like that?
Steve said was funny, but go ahead.
Wow.
Sorry.
No, it's good. So,
well, it's probably creepy for you. Sorry.
No, it's. I thought you were gonna murder me or something.
No, you know what I appreciate? I like people talking like logic and common sense. That's why I like you.
But what could we point to at this point that would tell you that Goff is it? Is he an option at the quarterback position? Yeah, he is. It's obvious that Brad Holmes wanted Goff, or he would have made other trades.
Sure.
It's obvious. So in a perfect world, he works, and you pay him in 2 years, and you extend him for a long time, and you're winning. You're loading up on these first round picks. I think it's hard to see him after the last 2 seasons and think that, but I'm really intrigued to see him away from Sean McVay. I really am. I think there is something to be said for an offensive system that has become stagnant and one that in which defenses have figured it out, and a coordinator, head coach too rigid to understand it. I'm curious to see what Goff is going to look like away from McVay and the Rams system. Now, having said that, they have to put some pieces around him to help him, and currently they don't have that. I mean, they have Tyrell Williams, and they have Rashad Perriman, and they have T.J. Hawkinson. They have guys, but we're not talking about explosive players. We're not talking about durable guys. With some of the signings, you just hope that they're healthy. You hope that they can make it, a full season. No offense to those guys, but these are guys who have not played 16 games. These are not proven productive guys. So you're going to have to address that position in the draft. You just are. You have to help him.
Steve said, "Where's my buddy Larry? Did you go off on him, Sean?" There was no yelling and screaming and cursing, Scott.
No.
Yelling and screaming and cursing. That's one, by the way. How many can we get to today, do you think?
20?
Let's go. All right, pressure's on. It's a little inside joke between he and I. But listen, Fruitcake, Luke said, I can see 6 wins maybe. Yeah, they're not going to be good.
Do we anticipate a team playing better than it did last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And even though it's not official yet, the likelihood that it's going to be 17 games is really high.
Yeah.
It's kind of unofficially official. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It's
we can kind of talk about it like there's 17 games and they're playing at
You know what I
Denver in
think
week
they're going to do?
17.
I think the NFL is going to be really cute. And after the draft, because I know this year, I love schedule day. That's like one of my favorite days of the year.
Yeah.
I'm such a loser, but I love schedule day. And the scheduled day is going to be the first week of May this year, so I can see them going like this, really quiet,
Sneaking it in.
and then announcing the 17-game schedule that way. Even though everybody and their brother has a pretty good feeling that it's going to be a 17-game schedule.
Yeah, I think we know where the Lions are playing in Week 17. Denver, correct?
Yeah, Denver. Yeah, that's the whole NFC versus AFC weekend, right? That they want to do.
Some of this is buoyed by the concept that they're going to just play better because schematically they're going to fit better, and coaching staff is going to be able to understand what limitations are and play guys at their strengths. And Jamie Collins is a player that comes to mind there, where I think you're going to get a little better play out of him than you might have last year. You need some linebackers. You need a safety. You need some of the corners that we have need to emerge. On offense, you need a lot. But can you stumble into 6 wins in this league? Yeah, you can.
Larry, I'm here and going nowhere. Sean is the reason I'm here. Larry, I want to echo something that Scott said. And Scott, I said this to Joik a couple weeks ago. You want perfect world scenario? Okay, I'm going to give you the perfect world scenario. What you said just a couple minutes ago. Jared Goff is not only the answer. Jared Goff is as good as he was in 2018. That would be, honestly, that would be unbelievable. A guy his age to show everybody, okay, the last 2 years were aberrations, just a bunch of crap went south. It started with our system. It started with Sean McVay. They were stupid to, you know how we call it a win-win? The trade was a win-win, okay? The Rams wanted to get rid of a guy they didn't feel was the guy anymore. They wanted to get rid of his contract. The Lions had to get value for it. I'll say it again. The business part of that deal was the 2 first-round picks and the 3rd pick. Now you're throwing in essence, if Jared Goff of 2018, you're throwing in another first-round pick.
Or more.
That would be, right? I mean, number 1 overall.
So just think of it in terms of this. Let's say Goff plays at a reasonably high level for 2 years. What's his age at that point? He's 28.
28.
What can you flip him for as a 28-year-old quarterback on the open market? There's not a lot of talk about that. There isn't. Now, it's a little bit convoluted to talk like that because if he plays well to the point where you can flip him for assets, why would you be flipping him for assets if he played that well? But that is something to be talked about. If he plays at a reasonably high level, you can move him for a lot. You can. Somebody would have to be willing to pay him. But, that's down the road. We're in a position where we don't totally know what Goff is because he's away from McVay. We just don't. There's some upside there. There's not a lot. But, it's an unknown.
Let's talk about that and a comment that somebody made. I'll share that as well when we come back. Really appreciate you joining us, Nits. It's a Wednesday morning here on Woodward Sports. He's Scott Bischoff. I'm Sean Baligian.
I mean, we're inside Grove Green right now, and they have everything. I'm talking, you got your active air fans, you got your big lights over there, big pots, little pots, and Joey, what are you doing right now?
Get some sun.
That's not what those lights are for.
Feels nice.
Go to Grow Green MI today to get all your growing needs and a tan.
Everybody hates me.
Who is everybody?
No, do you know how sad it is? No, it's really.
I don't believe you.
When all the fights on the show, everybody, it's just mean to me.
I like you, Sean.
Fish, thank you. That means a lot. But it's.
I'm a huge fan.
All the fights on the show. Everybody, I'm Team Art. I'm Team Joy. Boo Sean. Larry just said, "Get Sean out of here." I like this guy. Dude, that hurts me, Larry. Maybe I should start yelling and screaming and cursing.
I think he did that with some laughing, smiley faces or something.
Scott, you know what the crazy thing is? This is what I'm going to say to you. You kind of feel the same way that I do about Jared Goff, don't you?
I don't know.
I'm holding your feet to the fire.
That's fine. We're good.
He's nothing more than a placeholder. He's a placeholder who will be gone in a couple of years.
Potentially. We don't know. We don't totally know. I mean,
strapping young lad.
I don't want to speak in certainties that I am just unaware of.
Okay.
right? We don't know what he's going to look like away from McVay's scheme. Could it be okay? Yeah. Could it be catastrophically bad? Yeah. Could it be good? Maybe. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it, is that there's windows, for it to be somewhat okay, and there's windows for it to be bad, for him just not to look right under pressure and with weapons that don't totally fit him. I mean, if we're to believe that McVay's system made him, and you take him out of that system and you don't put him in a situation that works for him, what does he look like?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
we don't know.
Well, and it's funny because somebody said, this is a guy that he can thrive on the play action. The Lions want to get the running game. In fairness, that's something that Dan Campbell said that he wants. He wants to get a running game going. Now,
everybody talks about getting the running game going.
We've been talking about it here for 20 plus years, since some guy named Barry Sanders left, right? Remember Greg Hill? Who can forget that wonderful era? That was awesome. Remember that?
Yeah.
Good time. I love James Stewart, though. You know that. I love James Stewart for a couple of reasons.
Remember the Artus Pinner years?
Dude's hands were just like... he told me a funny story I'll share sometime. But James Stewart, his claim to fame, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah.
He called me an idiot. He called me an idiot. It was kind of funny.
Who had their bags stolen? Was that him?
No, that was
Rudy Johnson?
Rudy with an I.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rudy with an I.
Crazy.
Remember when Rudy came here and everybody knew he was done for 2 years?
Yeah.
And it was like, what are you talking about? We got Rudy Johnson.
Yep.
Was that it was Tatum Bell, right?
Yes.
Wasn't it Tatum Bell?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The ghost.
Did you ever
of
hear
Tatum
that
Bell.
story about
the great story?
Rudy with an I? I think my fantasy team name that year was Rudy's Baggage. Do you remember?
It was.
I always make inappropriate fantasy.
You do. I think
Most
you're
of the time, my team names cannot be repeated on airwaves such as this, but I know my team name that year was Rudy's Baggage.
Yeah.
It is alleged, and I think at this point in time, more than alleged, that one of his teammates took his baggage when he got cut.
Yep.
Just decided, I'm going to take his bags and walk out. They tried to say it was an accident, but everybody was like, no, it wasn't an accident. Kevin Jones. I felt so sorry for Kevin Jones.
He was phenomenal.
He was really good. KJ was really... And that's another thing with the Lions. Javid Best, Kevin Jones, right?
Yeah. Mikel LaSure.
It's unfortunate. I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
What can you do? Scott, what do you think? Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift, who knows what role Kerryon Johnson's going to have, if any. We have to be honest. That is one case where all the scouts talking about Kerryon Johnson coming into the NFL, a few years in, we have to say that all the scouts were right. Because the big question about Kerryon Johnson was his durability.
Yeah.
And so
he's
you
still very
have
effective.
to give those guys credit.
He's still very effective in pass pro. So there is a home for him on third down.
From what you've seen, I think so too. I think he's going to be like a third back type of guy. From what you've seen, a couple people have made comment to this. If the Lions do have some semblance of a running game, is Jared Goff notably a better passer? I mean, everybody's a better quarterback if you have a running game behind you. Let's be honest. But is that something when you've watched film or you've scouted him that his play action is something that goes like that?
So the entire play action concept that you need to run effectively is a fallacy. You do not need to run the ball effectively to execute play action effectively. It's not. They're really not tied together. You know what I'm saying? It's you can run the ball poorly and still run play action effective to where you're throwing over the middle of the field, chunk plays, that kind of stuff. I mean, I think with Goff, there is a desire to get him in rhythm and timing and tempo, and he's willing to put the ball. I mean, this is one of the things he really did at college. He did really well at college was he put the ball in places where a defender couldn't go get it. So with him, I can see them.
Well, that hasn't worked the last couple of years.
I can see them really wanting to run play action with him to get him in tempo and to get them in the rhythm of their offense, meaning you fake the handoff, get to your 5-step drop, and the ball comes out, right? And that's tempo and rhythm. Ball comes out. But to do that, he has to be really he has to understand that his receivers will get open. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And in order for that to happen, they need to be able to get open. That kind of leads you to which type of receiver would they be looking for in this draft, and it's more of the guys who do open up quickly and are good route runners that he can trust. So Goff needs to trust that his guys are going to be where they're supposed to be at the top of his drop. So that way when it's play action, he turns his back on the defense, turns around, 5 steps, ball comes out, everything works. If that gets disrupted, then we're in trouble. We're going to see a lot of that. We're going to see some stuff where they design him to roll out and to make throws on the move because he can do those kind of things. But if he gets stuck where receiver's not open and he's got to go through progressions and then find something, that's where there could be danger with Goff.
Arthur has his hand up, by the way.
Yes, YouTube comment from Joey 2 times. Who gives a bleep about pass pro when carry-on is awful at everything else? It's like a wide receiver that can't catch for bleep, but is good at run blocking. Who cares? Comment?
I think it's important to be able to pick up blitzing linebackers on third down so your quarterback can hang in and make throws and move the chains.
I think it's very important. I'll take it a step further. But I understand what's his name? Joey Bats? What's his name?
Yeah, I get it too. Why would you pay for that?
I get it.
It was Joey 2 times.
Okay, Joey 2
Put some
times,
respect
Joey
on
2
his
times.
name.
No, I get what you're saying. You want more out of a guy that was drafted where he was drafted.
Yes.
I get that.
There's validity to what he is saying.
100%.
Yes.
I get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want a guy that can do those things. Can you get a guy like that in the 6th round and not pay him the type of money that a 2nd rounder got? Yeah, I get it. But I don't want to underplay the importance of having that type of player to the team. You know what's interesting about this? I'm sorry, Scott, I can't get past your comment. And I know I made one smarky, sarcastic comment about it, but now I'm going to go all in on it. Jared Goff has to get a hell of a lot better at throwing the ball where defenders aren't.
Yeah.
Period. And that's what I keep imploring people. This is not an exercise in haterade or anything like. This is a guy that's churned the ball over 38 times in his last 29 games.
Is that a function of a defense knowing where he's going with the ball?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Get him out of that system.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know, but I mean that's what I when you're turning the ball over that much. I mean, not again a vast majority of that is interceptions, but he was prone to coughing it up via the fumble as well. I mean that's going to frustrate the sin out of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's why I'm hesitant to really go either way there with him. I think there's just so much unknown with what he is as a player coming out of that system where we've talked about this in the past. You as a rookie, as a second-year player actually, McVay comes in and he's talking to Goff pre-snap, telling him where to go with the ball. Goff doesn't really need to know. He's being told where to throw it. And all of a sudden defenses figure out where McVay wants to go with it, and they're, defenders are jumping routes, and it doesn't look as good as it once did. I mean, that obviously paints a very rosy picture of what Goff could be away from McVay.
Yeah.
But understanding his limitations are important too. So I realize I'm effectively saying essentially nothing about Goff, but there's so much up in the air. There is some positives. There are positives and there are negatives. We're going to see which Jared Goff shows up and what he looks like away from a scheme in which he was realistically like a teenager who's under the thumb of his father and not able to do anything on his own.
Steve said, gotta protect the quarterback. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm sorry. I've said it once. I'll say it 10,000 times on this show. Like Tony Dungy's assessment of what the National Football League today is. What can your quarterback do to the opposition, and how can you get to the opposition's quarterback?
We saw it in the Super Bowl. Look what the Buccaneers did to Mahomes.
That's the NFL today.
Everything.
I mean, it really is. I mean, don't fool yourself. That's the National Football. It's been that way for a long time. I think we don't have people kicking and screaming anymore when people say that. I think everybody acknowledges it. You have to protect your quarterback.
So you mentioned that you have to protect your quarterback.
Yeah.
Offensive tackle in round 1. Open your eyes to it. It's a very conservative type of move.
You know what I'm going to do? There are two things when we come back. Number one, I am going to show appreciation to somebody who, for whatever reason, people seem to hate on him more than people hate on me. There is somebody who, and I think you know who I'm talking about, but you don't know who I'm talking about right now, and what this particular fella has the Lions doing at 7 overall as well. Did I give it away yet?
I know who it is.
Yeah. All hail. All hail. He's Art. Fishes in the aquarium. That's Scott Bischoff. I'm Sean Baligian. It's also about 97 degrees in here right now. Get me ready for going down to the Keys, though.
I'll take the over.
82 is going to seem chilly. I might put on my cap and wear some gloves, try to get warmed up.
You're going to take a few hoodies?
Don't go anywhere. It's Woodward Sports. Hey, are your brackets busted? Well, they are never busted when you bet with MyBookie. They have all the games you can bet any way you want. Parlay straight against the spreads, thousands of lines and prop bets on all games. But you have to take the initiative. Do yourself a favor. Get that head start by signing up today with promo code Woodward, and they'll match your first deposit halfway up to $1,000. That's free cash credited to your account instantly on top of your deposit. The best part is you always have access to the action, whether you're at home or on the go. Visit the website online or on your phone at mybookie.ag and use promo code Woodward. That's promo code Woodward to grab yourself a deposit bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Sandy.
Now people are being mean to you.
Okay.
Somebody said, who is Scott Bischoff?
Yeah, someone in the comments.
He's my friend!
Oh, okay. All right.
Wow.
Now, Scott, you coach football. You've been a writer about football. You were on a fantasy football show that was recognized as one of the top 5
Elite. It was rare.
fantasy shows in the nation by Sports Illustrated. You're a scout. Am I missing anything?
No, you're there.
He's
Good.
never going to talk himself up. It's just
It
never.
is pointless.
Trust me, I know him. He's not.
What did you say during break?
He's not. I don't remember what.
What his claim to fame is?
Oh, I'm Eric Bischoff's cousin. There you go.
Somebody said, "Who the heck is Scott Bischoff? Why are we listening to him?" And
That's
Scott
all
goes,
you need to know.
Scott's done a few things. Check out his Twitter.
Yeah.
I know that fantasy show that he did was really awesome, though.
It
I know
really
that.
was.
Like
It was
for Sports Illustrated to
spectacular.
call it one of the top 5 fantasy shows, that it's got to be a good show, right? It was terrible. That host was a moron. Trust me.
What do you mean was?
What would Maz say about the show?
Well, I never watched that show. Bad info.
Bad info.
You're busy with Sandy.
Let's head to the aquarium. Hi, Fish.
Good afternoon. It's a nice sunny day here. We got some sun. We got some great excitement here. Just swimming down the Atlantic Ocean, heading to Key West. Scott, for those people who do not know and may not know, who is Eric Bischoff? And I do know, just so people don't hate on me, I know who he is, but for people who do not know.
He will be entering the World Wrestling Hall of Fame shortly.
Woohoo! No, we're not quite.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, okay,
We're
cool. All
clapping.
right, cool. I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, Hall of Famer.
I hear he has a mean barbecue on the 4th of July. Is
He
that
does.
true?
Yes.
What'd you guys eat? Smoke show guys, listen. What'd you guys eat? Do you remember?
Last time I was there 2 years ago, it was like this. They made green chili, green. I don't even know what it was. Chili was awesome,
Yeah.
spectacular.
Was there
but
like-
he smokes
Were you
everything. everything.
Yeah, I like him already.
Pizza out of the oven onto the smoker for 5
go.
minutes.
Let's go.
Yes, everything.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like him even more.
Yep.
I like him even more. Okay, I'm serious when I say this, and Larry guessed it, okay? We need to have, whether people want to admit it or not, we need to have a Mel Kiper Appreciation Day.
We really should, because without him, none of this stuff really
I'm
exists.
telling you guys right now, listen to me. I want you to listen to me right now. Open your ears. The NFL draft has become one of the biggest events in the sports calendar, period. Okay?
Yes, it has.
How long? Joik and I have been doing this show since December, okay? Art, you've been in here. Fish, you've been in here. We've been talking about the draft since I think the last week of December. Oftentimes every day. I mean, seriously. If not every day, 3-4 times a week, multiple times on the show, okay? We do a draft show here. There are mock drafts all over the internet. I am a mockaholic. I've admitted this. The first step is admitting that you have a problem. Maybe I do have a problem. My temper's always flaring like a pack of hemorrhoids. So this is one of those things, Scott, where I don't think the
Do you really think you have a problem, or you don't really think you have a problem?
I don't think the average human understands that Mel Kiper is literally the reason this all happens today.
Yeah.
That is not an exaggeration.
No,
that is
it's not at all.
Okay, he and I grew up in an era. I'm gonna give you an example. Believe it or not, kids, at one point in time in my life, and this is where I wish Maz was here, okay? Maz could vouch for this. Well, Sonny B, I remember you had to look at the news the next day. It wasn't televised. It wasn't on television. True story. The NFL draft wasn't televised, okay? You would have to wait and see the next day in the paper who went where. This is 100% true, okay? So, again, I'm going to show my age. We've already established I'm old, okay? Insert your old jokes here. I was over one of my buddies' house in the 1990 draft, okay? It was a beautiful April day.
A scant 30 years ago.
Yeah, only 31 years ago. It was a beautiful day, and all my buddies wanted to go out and do dumb things that 19-year-old kids do. And me and some of my friends were like, we're not going anywhere. And so the other group of buddies were like, this is the first nice day in months. Let's go down to the park and let's, drink beer and, run from cops and all that stuff. And I'm like, no, we're going to stay here. Why? What? We're watching the NFL draft. Why are you watching the NFL draft? I'm not joking. That happened. For some of you guys that are older, you can remember that. That was the Spindler draft. That's how I was introduced to Mark Spindler, because Spindler was one of those guys, they showed him sitting in his house, and the big question was, when was Mark Spindler going to be picked? And so, that uncomfortable look, we've seen the Aaron Rodgers fall and everything. Poor Spindog was like that.
Yeah.
And he ended up in Detroit. Shout out to Spindog. What's up? Go Notre Dame. His son, Rocco, going to Notre Dame. Best of luck. So, Scott, none of this stuff, everything that the draft has become, okay, which is a year-round thing.
It's a monster, yeah. It really is.
Ask him. He's scouting guys in August for not the 2022 draft, for the 2023 draft. Chances are he's probably flying to BYU to do it, but the reality is, no, Scott, none of that stuff happens. I'm not joking. None of that stuff happens without Mel Kiper being Mel Kiper.
Yeah.
That is, okay, I'm glad. Here's a guy that does it for a living that you agree with me.
I mean, it doesn't, he kind of invented the entire thing. I mean, he did. And it goes back to, I think it was the Colts back a long time ago.
He just looks like such a smug a-hole, though. Can we acknowledge that?
We can.
We can give him credit and call him a smug a-hole. And I didn't swear, Art. Are you proud of me? I can say a-hole.
I'm up 1-0. I do believe he went after the Colts.
It was.
And that was kind of how it all got started.
And who is
this Kiper?
Who's this Kiper
sitting in his basement and everything? Yeah.
Yeah.
And things have not changed because it's the same mentality as, people in the NFL like to dismiss people who aren't because they haven't been.
Wow.
And therefore their opinion is sort of all that not, really not that valid.
Well, and it's interesting because, really this is, Scott, this is the truth. I'm not joking. It was that, gosh, and I just looked it up just to make sure what year it was with Bill Tobin. It was 1994.
Yeah.
So this is a few years after. I mean, the NFL draft blew up. I mean, I want you to think about this. Even like here, our buddy Steve said, I wasn't even thought of back then. Okay, look at how it's changed in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Just in the last 10 years.
Traveling to different cities and
And becoming a primetime event.
Yeah.
It has become a primetime event. I mean, remember the kicking and streaming?
Multiple primetime events.
Scott, remember the kicking and screaming that people did when they moved it from Saturday to Sunday? Why are you doing this? Because they can. Because they can go to prime time and start that printing press up and just print money by putting the National Football League draft on primetime television.
You have one of your own in the YouTube comments. Chaz K says, I used to sit on the couch all day Saturday writing down where every player was drafted and to what team. I had a spiral notebook I used year after year. I'm old like you, Sean.
Bam. It's true.
It's what we did.
Like when it first went on TV, people, like, I'm not joking, people are like, who's going to watch this? Well, nerds are. Okay. And like, look, I'm a nerd. I have no problem saying it. I'm nerdy. Cool.
Steve-O says the first draft I ever watched was when the Lions took Herman Moore. I was hooked ever since.
91, right? 91 draft? You can fact check me, but I believe that was the 91 draft. 10th overall out of the University of Virginia.
91.
10th overall out of the University of Virginia.
Yeah. I hate how good you are.
Sorry,
like an
dude.
elephant.
I'm
Crazy.
a nerd. Openly admit it. But no, I mean, that's like, guys, I know he's smug. I know, like, the whole McShay Kuiper thing has become like a really old bit to me that I don't like to watch anymore.
the fabrication of those two.
They try to, you know, and that's a lot of what sports media is today. You know, we have to argue because that makes for. If you're arguing something I know damn well you don't believe, I tune out. Like I'm just, at that point in time, I don't have any time for that. So that's become. But Scott, honest to goodness, tip of the cap to Mel Kiper. This is one of the biggest events on the sports calendar.
Yeah, and so obviously he started the whole thing off, but at this point in time, it's like, you know, there are still those who just flock to what Kuiper's got, right?
Yeah.
And especially there's something that happens with his mock drafts always, where there's somebody who just sneaks into like the bottom of round one, where you think, it's interesting. You know what I'm saying?
I do, but
yeah.
I
so
just,
it makes you
I
wonder.
just want
like,
to know if you're going to expound on it or
I'm
not.
not.
I knew you wouldn't.
There's
but
every once in a while there's one of those moves where you think,
Remember when you were bought and paid for because you said that some guy named Ziggy Ansah
I was
going to go
paid
in the
for,
top
yeah.
10? Do you remember
Who paid
that?
me? I don't remember any of
Yeah,
that.
do you remember when you were out of your mind? True story. Art, see, he's not going to sing his praises, right? He was on a radio show with me in a future life. Or future life.
Past life.
Past life. I'm a time traveler.
Time
dude.
is a
I've been
circle.
telling you. You find pictures of me everywhere. I was there. No, he was on a radio show with me, and it was right at the end of a particular season, and he said to me, there is this guy that I'm telling you right now, not only is he going to go first round, but he's going to go top 10. And do you remember, and I even showed you, there were people that literally don't ever put this guy on the radio again. Who is this? What a moron. You know, and if you remember, you even said, I remember the bonus of this. Now I'm having flashbacks. But Lene's boyfriend.
Oh boy.
Do you remember?
Manti?
You had said he's not going first round. You're out of your mind. People went nuts.
Yeah.
And would he go third round? Did he
I don't know where he ended up. He was late. Yeah, later.
And not only did Ziggy Ansah go in the first round, as we all know, but he went in the top 10. And it was kind of funny. So to me, Scott, at that point in time, that's when I remember, like, the radio people, it was just like, oh yeah, he did say that, and it was kind of funny. And but again, guys, I'm going to say to you, okay, the draft, much like the NFL, is really kind of a year-long thing now. Okay, the NFL, our mutual friend Tom Kowalski, longtime beat writer, told me about 13 years ago. True story. Told me about 13 years ago. Listen to me. And I was always kid to him because, believe it or not, one time I was younger. But kid, listen to me. Listen, I'm telling you. Listen, here's the deal. The NFL wants to become 12 months a year. They want to own the sports calendar. Like
they do.
Yeah, you watch. Everything's going to be spread out. Everything's going to be. This is going to get big. The combine. Who thought of the combine, right? That's another thing. The combine wasn't there in your lifetime. It became a thing. And the NFL has become Scott, I always say about 11 and a half month a year thing. They maybe take a couple weeks off right before training camp, and then that's it.
Yeah, and at that point in time, everybody's like drooling for something NFL related.
Yep.
Right? Like it's the withdrawals about NFL stuff right before camp in
Yep.
early July.
Jeremy said, before they moved the draft to prime time, when the first couple of rounds were Saturday, my buddies and I made that event subs, pizza, chicken, beer. That was, out of all the things that I missed when I got in this business. I've said this to Joik before. Like, Joik and I are going to go to a football game. We're going to go to a Lions game this year as fans. Because Joik hasn't, obviously, I don't know if you knew this, Joik played for the Lions, and he played in the NFL. Art, did you know that? Yeah, so
No idea.
Joik hasn't had an opportunity to go to a game as a fan in years, and nor have I. I haven't done it in years. You know, it was always, I had TV, then I had radio, then sometimes I had a post-game show on the radio, then it was back to TV at night. This year, as I sit here, I don't have anything to do, and I can't tell you how happy I am. All right? Scott, you come to the game with us. Let's go to the game as fans, and we'll yell, and we'll drink, and it'll be the greatest day ever. And Art, everybody's invited. But listen, do you know what I really miss? The draft. Because exactly what Jeremy just said, that's what I did.
Yeah.
My buddies and I, starting in 1990. And then it was funny because the first year there were like 4 of us at my buddy Kevin's house. And then the next year there were like 10 of us. And then the year after that there were like 15. And then it was like, dude, we better go to a bar and watch this because we're not going to cram everybody into our houses and everything. And then you know what happened in a former life? I would always do a draft show with Stoney. Stoney and I, for, I don't know, like 8 years, did draft shows together.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what happens in life.
Is draft day, Tom wants to know, is draft day also known as WAP day?
I can't think of anything better on a draft day than wings and pizza.
No, than some WAP, you mean? No.
Yeah, wings and pizza.
Yeah, WAP, but you got to say WAP, not wings and pizza.
I'm Sean Baligian, and when I'm watching the draft, there's nothing that satisfies my appetite like WAP.
Beautiful.
WAP and the draft go hand in hand, right?
We got our short clip for the day.
All those subs. No, I want you to think subs.
No, it's got to be WAP or nothing.
No, but give me a big sub.
WAP.
A big meaty sub.
Look into the camera and scream, I love WAP.
I love WAP.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Scott, can you do it too, please?
I love WAP.
He didn't say this emphatically, but it's going to work. But no, Scott, did you do that back? I mean, my loser friends and I had like little mini draft parties.
Yeah, it's almost like fantasy draft day, kind of the same kind of vibe back a long time ago. It's obviously different now than it used to be.
We're trying to talk to them. Art, were you aware of this? And I know we're so late for a break, and you know what? Quite frankly, I don't care. Do you want me to lie to you?
No, you tell that to the boss.
I have to be on time. We're gonna have a draft party here.
Are we?
Uh-huh.
Am I invited?
Yeah.
Why do you hurt me like that?
You know, you just...
Why do you hurt my soul like
It's
that?
just hurtful how much you stick up for Joik all the time, and it's really starting to bother me. You know? Oh, Joik's out today. Oh, he's out. Oh, it's gonna...
Thank you, Lynn. Lynn loves me. That's 2 people that like me. My mom and
Or
Lynn.
you could do WAPs, like Tom says. Wings, pizza, and subs. I like the WAPs.
Okay. Well, you know what? Hey, listen, trust me. I got your food covered on draft night. I got your food covered.
Well, I would hope so.
You don't think I can do that right?
It's the least you could do for me.
Don't you disrespect me. Don't you? I got your food covered draft night.
All right.
But seriously, we're probably
we have a plan.
We're working on some things. If you're sitting at home watching the draft and you want some instant reaction, he's going to be here unless you have to go to the draft. I don't know.
No.
You don't have to go to the draft?
I don't think I do.
See. When I hear I don't think, that scares me.
There is
do you know
no
what it reminds me
reason-
of? How'd you do on your test, Lauren? I think I did well. When I hear my daughter say I think I did well, I plan for a D.
Okay, listen.
Just the way it
if
is.
we're doing a
I
draft
think I
show,
did
Sean is
I will be
feisty.
here. Period.
Okay. Well, we're going to do something. I already talked to Stick and Joey. We might bring all the forces. It'll be like the Legion of Doom. All the forces of evil are here. I'm going to be here, too. Maz is going to be here.
Will he have better chairs?
But you know what? I'll
Maybe
make
we'll
sure
have
we
the
get
wheels by then.
No, but seriously,
knew?
Joey, Stick. Well, Pilar, you're more than welcome to come, but you're a nice human. I don't know if you want to be here with the evil people. Mac, we're all going to be, and we're going to have like an instant reaction NFL draft thing. That's
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
Yes.
And Scott,
Yes.
are we allowed to say there'll be beer?
Yeah, we're not
We're not gonna
FCC regulated.
You're damn right there's going to be beer.
Hey, you know
There'll
what,
be more than
Sean?
beer.
Sean, I'll give you one free swear word right now because we're not on the radio. Go for it.
All right, dickheads, we're going to a break, and when we come back, more of something on vacation day right here on Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys. And ladies, this is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Steve said, I'll be watching outside the window behind you. More than welcome. Steve, I'll give you some WAP.
Oh, my.
If you come out, I'll make sure you get some WAPs. I'm not going to disrespect you. Is that what? WAPs? WAPs? WAP. I'll make wings and pizza and subs. Yeah, well, I'll slide something your way. Don't worry about it. These kids. Get your minds out of the gutter.
You know, it's crazy.
Speaking of which, I see some food over there. What do we got over there?
They always get food, and it's never.
Isn't it amazing? And I share every Wednesday. I share, but these guys are walking around. It's like the Garden of freaking Eden with all their food. Does anybody share with me?
They know that I have a gluten allergy, and what are they bringing today? Jersey Mike subs. What are we doing here, folks?
You could have a lettuce wrap.
I could have a lettuce wrap, but guess what? Back over here, it's subs, chips. You know what? Bring beer. Why don't you just bring a gluten factory in here? The disrespect.
Fire some wheat into that little room.
Yeah, just inject me with wheat.
A gluten
Whatever.
factory. Hey, what are you guys doing? I work for the gluten factory.
You know, and I will
What
say,
do you guys produce? What a dumb question. You're a dumbass.
I will give the most credit to the Smoke Show because Mike and Dave and you guys go out of your way to...
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, your love for Joik is embarrassing, but you guys go out of your way to make some non-gluten items. Then they bring in Jersey Mike subs with extra glutens.
I didn't know any better, son.
No respect around here.
I'd say you was a regular
You could have a
jackass.
bag of ricotta cheese.
Just one.
Where it's going to be a problem.
Mel Kiper has Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw it.
I did.
I'm going to say it again. Like, this is going to be one of those drafts, Scott. Like, unless they do something really screwy, I don't think, Mike Parsons, I don't think I'm going to lose my mind if they walked up to the podium and said, and with the 7th pick overall, the Lions select Devontae Smith. I get it.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's a need.
Yes.
But
I would imagine you would feel the same way if they announced Jalen Waddle or Jamar Chase.
Yes.
Chase is a little more. Does he fit with Jared Goff than Waddle or Devontae Smith? But great player. It's hard. It's really hard to find any flaws in his game, right? I mean, if they announce Kyle Pitts, are you going to freak?
You know me. I will not. The only thing I will freak at, okay, because you and I have lived this, is if we're doing a draft show that night and we're here, I am going to hear every old bit about tight ends and 4th tight end in the last 12 years and every gosh damn thing, and people can't differentiate between Brandon Pettigrew and Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Like really, that's the best way that I can.
Well, I'm not sure that. No offense, but I'm not sure that there's an understanding of the difference between T.J. Hawkinson and Kyle Pitts. I don't know that we're fully understanding that.
Will you explain that to people?
Well, the fact that you have Hawkinson here as your inline type tight end, you're attached to the line of scrimmage tight end, you wouldn't be playing Pitts like that. So you would be playing him as an offensive weapon, spread out on the boundary, out of the slot, doing what you should be doing with him as a player. So the fact that they already have one makes his destination here even more intriguing. Where if he goes somewhere where they don't have a tight end yet and they ask him to play in line, it's a little bit like, hey, when this is over, you and I are going to go buy a Lamborghini and we're going to drive that thing to your house and we're then going to attach a rope to the bumper and pull out trees with it.
Sure.
Why would you do that?
Exactly.
Get a pickup truck to do that kind of stuff. So here you have your inline type with Hawkinson, who's still a very effective receiver. Pitts would be a dynamic player here. You just wouldn't be asking him to do tight end stuff.
Well, as you and I have tried to educate everybody for years about this, one of the funniest things about draft day, and I brought this bit up to Joy the other day, is the people that lose their mind day one, round one, because they didn't take fill in the blank position. They didn't take a linebacker.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why didn't you take a linebacker? I always tell people this. I'm not sure you're aware of this, okay? But the NFL draft, guess what? It's back on tomorrow. And you're never going to believe this. Boy, do I have some news for you. It's on the day after that, too.
The Lions have 4 picks or 3 picks in day 2.
And that's what, guess what? Not only is there a round 2nd, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, but you can have multiple picks in each round. What? But wait, there's more. I feel like I'm selling something on television right now. Then there's a free agent buying period where you can go get an unsigned free agent like a Joyke Bell. And last but not least, there's also camp and grabbing guys off the scrap heap that were cut from other teams because of cap concerns, whatever the case may be. And so when people lose their mind day one, I'm like, amateur. It's like, seriously, you can still address the needs in later rounds.
You can, and this is going to be interesting because they have so many holes to fill and so many positions of need going forward that it's almost, do you want them to get value? Yes. You want them to get value, but can you get value at multiple places in this draft?
100.
Yes, you can.
Hello, Arthur.
JGB on YouTube says that we're ignoring the fact that defense as a possible first-round pick. We're 32nd place in defense last year, and we need
historically bad.
Yeah.
Can I say this though? I'm not ignoring it. Do you know what I'm asking you though? I'm going to ask you, and maybe he can answer it before I ask Scott. And I hope you understand I'm not being swarmy when I say this. Who at 7? Who at 7? I'm serious. Who at 7? Which defensive player at any position? Which defensive player do you want at 7? Now I'll let you sound smart. This is like it's like a baseball game. I just went 6 2/3 of an inning. It was a good start. I'm not going to say it was a great start. Scott came in and just starts mowing him down. Scott, look at those jerks. Look at us. See-through window. Look how much food
Hey,
we
real
have.
quick, I have a defensive player we could pick. Oh, wait, never mind.
Scott,
Never mind.
Who's there at 7? Really and truly.
There are corners that you could make a case for at 7. You just took one with the 3rd overall pick last year. Micah Parsons is talked about as a top 10 player. It is just that I'm not totally going to get it. There's off the field stuff with him and he's an off-ball linebacker who's a 2-down player right now. We're not going to make the automatic assumption that he's going to pick up the coverage concepts at the NFL level. He's not really asked to do that at Penn State. And just assuming that a great athlete like him can do that, it has been a mistake in the past. So you've got some corners. You've got Christian Barmore, defensive tackle from Alabama, but not at 7. Trayvon Morig from TCU is a safety, but not at 7. So it's tough to find a player who fits at 7. If we're talking about a trade down into the mid-teens or late teens, then yeah, that's the beauty of the trade down. It does offer you the ability to hit the defensive side of the ball. But with pick 7, it's really you're reaching significantly to take a defensive player. Unless you're going corner, you're reaching at 7 for a defender.
And let me say this, because I'm glad that you brought this up. That doesn't preclude the Lions from moving down. But what we have to work under the assumption right now is the Lions are going to stay at 7. Until they aren't at 7, we have to keep talking about them being at 7. And I think when you look at this board, Scott, you're smarter than I, so I'm glad I'm on the same page with you. When you look at what this board looks like right now, I just don't think that there's a viable defensive player to take. I couldn't agree with you more. This was a historically bad defense. That is not an overstatement. It was historically bad. For a bad franchise to have a historically bad defense, it has to be horrific.
It was.
And that defense was horrific. Now, can you go address needs with those multiple day 2 picks? You could make all 4 of them.
Yeah.
And you can make them count. We've seen it before. You can make things count. I mean, they got a Pro Bowler, for goodness sake, out of Darius Slay in the 2nd round. Obviously, you had a pretty darn good linebacker that who knows how he could have gotten taken out of Wisconsin as well in DeAndre Levy. That was 3rd round, right? Scott,
yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
So value can be had. You can address those needs. What I'm saying is at 7, everybody's going to talk about 7. That's the sexy pick, whether we like it or not, okay? That's the sexy pick. What I'm saying is it's not sexy to build the team, and this is a franchise that has to build a team. You build a team by hitting in the 2nd, hitting in 3rd, hitting with your 3/4, whatever the case may be. That's how you build your team. But talking about 7, I don't think a defensive player is in play there. I
don't either. I mean, Holmes has hit on, or at least the Rams have hit on players in the middle of the draft and players who have become valuable to them. So you hope that he can bring that here, and you can find a player in round 2 and 3 who becomes a very valuable starter on defense. That's where the wheelhouse of this is in rounds 2 and 3 is finding defensive players, but it's just not at 7. It's just the way this draft is.
Look over your shoulder for a second. What does it look like in there? What's going on in that room?
They're eating.
It really does look like a gluten party.
Looks like a lot of fun without us.
It really looks like they're having a gluten party.
It's a
over
gluten
there.
party.
Hey, but Sean, do your show. Get your show done.
This is what hell would be like to me. I'm serious. Like if I died, like Sean's dead, okay?
And you had to look through a glass at food?
And like I'm in a room where it's 10,000 degrees, and I look in the other room and they have wonderful like drinks in front of them, and Joey's like just downing bags of Doritos. Look at Joey.
I saw him.
His beard, that lush dark beard, is like Dorito orange right now.
They're on camera right now.
Look at that.
Look at them all
So
eating.
that's
chowing.
That's my personal hell right now.
Unbelievable.
Like they're right there. I'd love to go in there and partake, but I can't.
Nope.
There's this glass partition.
You're a pro.
And instead I'm in here and it's 10,000 degrees.
The disrespect.
Holy crap.
Enjoy your vacation. I'm back in hell tomorrow, Sean.
As Steve said, you're supposed to hit with 7. Later rounds make the draft. Yeah, so to KGB, what was it, JGB? Like, obviously, if we're talking about a mock draft, Mel was mocking who the Lions would have at 7. One man's opinion, I don't think there's a defensive player there, Scott.
I don't think there is either. And I find it interesting that he went receiver and a lot of other people are hitting the receiver position too. That's where the value is at pick 7. There are between Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith and Kyle Pitts, those 4 are going to be right in that range. They're Penny Sewell from Oregon, offensive tackle. Rashawn Slater from Northwestern, offensive tackle, and then you have all the quarterbacks, and that's going to be those are the players who are going to get squeezed
you know
into the
what?
top 7.
I'm kind of mad at you now that I think about it because you kind of teased me like a month ago.
I did, and it was awful.
Yeah, and like I can't get it on my head.
I
You know
know,
exactly
it's
where I'm
awful.
going with it. You said
Penny Sewell.
What if Penny Sewell falls? And then I thought to myself, wow, what if Penny Sewell?
What
and
if
he's
they
not gonna
release
fall.
a bong video on 10 minutes before draft day and he's available at
Not
7?
that that's ever happened.
Hey, this is a possibility.
I that's when I use your line. You sprint to the podium if something like that. Penny
Yes.
Sewell's there. I'll figure that out later.
Yes.
I'm getting like
Please
a
and thank
stud
you.
for like a dozen years, right? That's and again, in case you missed it, like to people out there, and there are a lot of people that like Parsons. Like I know our buddy Adam here likes Parsons. Scott, what terrifies me the most is I'm sorry, and maybe it's not Micah Parsons' fault. I can acknowledge I don't want another Jared Davis here. I don't want that from the first round. And he sounds like Jared Davis to me. He's a 2-down back.
He is right now a 2-down backer with some blitz ability. So when I say 2-down backer, I mean run stopping first and foremost. He is not a player you're dropping into coverage. It's just, he's got to develop that into his game. He is somebody you can bring off the edge as a blitzer. So that we can't dismiss that he does do some of those things. But you're asking for that to translate at the NFL level, and you're also taking a off-ball inside linebacker at 7 overall, and it's just not an impactful position. Period. It's not.
Kevin said you do not compound the fact that we take an offensive player. It is not saying we have no issue on defense. Of course we have to draft defense, but not at 7. You said it better than I can. Yes, absolutely. Look, okay, I'm going to say it again. You need a receiving core. You do. You need a receiving core, okay? You need a linebacking core. You really do. Like an entire linebacking core. That's not an exaggeration, okay? So they
have Jamie Collins for 1 more year. Mm-hmm. They have Jalen Reeves-Maben.
Who's what he is.
Yep.
I don't mean that disrespectfully,
sure.
But he plays,
And Jelani Tavai. So you do need.
How you doing?
You do need players to come in and fill out roles. You need your pressure linebacker. You need your coverage linebacker. You need those things.
So I'm not saying that, like, I think what people get wrapped up in is the order of you addressing needs, and I'm not going to get wrapped up in that.
It's value.
If there's better value had at another position, then I'll do that and wait to get my linebackers with 2 of my picks in this round and maybe 2 of the other picks. I don't know. But that's why I always joke.
Yeah, no.
There are 7 rounds. Sometimes you have more than 7 picks, and the Lions have a plethora of picks the next few years. All right,
They do.
I'm going to get your thoughts on this. Baseball firing up. Like I had my fantasy baseball draft the other day, and I got to be honest with you, I got jacked up about it.
You loaded?
You know me. I'm going to downplay it.
Sure.
I'm going to It's okay. If you want to make a trade, call me.
Good luck.
Hey, we just drafted, and this is crazy, but here's my lineup. So call me, maybe.
Where did you load up?
I always go get
pitchers?
First and third baseman. I'm serious. I just load up on a bunch.
Home runs?
I do, all the time. And then chicks dig the long ball, right?
Yeah. It's true.
Sean digs Jersey Mike's over there.
Did you go over the other day? The over-under was 5.
Oh, I went. What'd you think?
I bet the over.
I had to go to the bathroom before I left, and it's amazing how 2 subs ended up in my pockets. I don't know how that happened.
Man.
Really weird. All right, he's Scott Bischoff. I'm Sean Baligian. This is Woodward Sports.
You don't fumble the ball at work. Hey, Drake Bell, Sean Baligian. See you guys next weekend.
Thanks, Mike.
Oh, Bell's soft. Wait till it comes to New Zealand. Pour that out.
Hi. Grow Green, Michigan, the world's largest family-owned indoor garden center, buys in bulk and passes their savings on to you, the growers. Score insane deals like bags of Roots Original Soil for $10 and gallons of Fox Farm Big Bloom for just $40. Grow Green has over 1,000 pallets of soil in stock from brands like Pro Mix, Fox Farm, Dairy Dew, Nectar for the Gods, and Because. Go where the pros actually go. Go to Grow Green on M36 in Whitmore Lake or online at growgreenmi.com. Mention the show for a free t-shirt. Scott and I have been fantasy football guys for a long, long time. Something happened in fantasy football in the last, I would say, decade, Scott. It used to be very predictable, and it's very unpredictable now.
Yeah.
It just, there's no other way to say that. That just, right? And so I have confessed this to you before. I have enjoyed fantasy baseball more and more and more every year. I mean, I really do. And it was funny because I know I told you this. I did not play fantasy football last year for the first time since 1989 because I always look at it as an investment. And you know what? With all the uncertainty because of COVID and everything, I didn't want to do it. And why did I come to that conclusion? Because my fantasy baseball team last year. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah.
There were weeks where like key players in my lineup were out the entire week. Sorry. If I'm spending any cash to be in these leagues, I don't know what to tell. Oh, I'm sorry, Monopoly money. If I'm spending any Monopoly money, why do I want to give up Monopoly money for just roll down my window and all that stuff? So, you know, is baseball season going to go off without a hitch? I hope so, but I'm sure there'll be some issue, COVID-related issue somewhere or the other. I don't think it's going to be as bad as last year. I hope I'm right.
Let's hope.
But at the end of the day, I missed it. And I miss fantasy football. I mean,
But did you miss it as the season was going on last
No.
year?
I really. Do you know what? I think you and I had this conversation on Twitter. Dan Miller was privy to it.
Yeah.
We all like. As the season was going on, I felt relieved. Does that make sense? That was because you know what I do on Sundays and Mondays? I do this.
Looking at scores?
What?
Box scores?
Yeah, you're looking at box scores. You're trying to watch a game live. Oh, Scott Bischoff has to get in from the 2-yard line. I need this. And you know what? To just sit back and watch an NFL game was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I enjoyed last year more than anything? I enjoyed the Sunday and Monday night games. I did. I enjoyed them because you know what? I just watched football.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to add
You didn't need
fantasy
107
points.
yards
Yeah,
and a touchdown?
I wasn't trying to add fantasy points from 2 or 3 different leagues. I just watched football. So it's really, Scott, I still haven't decided if I'm going to do it again this fall. I missed it after the season. I missed draft day, like the camaraderie of that.
Yeah.
But kind of the freedom of not searching at my phone constantly.
So the whole
miss it.
you might appreciate the dynasty component of fantasy football because it's not so compressed into, it's just about this season. You're developing and building a team for a long time.
That's what I like about baseball.
And that's
what I like about
That's
baseball.
what I did last year. The majority was dynasty stuff, and I still enjoyed it. But like missing your league and a few other
Bless
ones
you.
that I'd been in forever, there was so much chaos around the everything last year that there were times when it was like I'm glad that I don't have to worry about putting a guy on injured reserve if you could, or who am I going to play kind of thing.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was one of those things. We almost pulled the plug on my league. It was like mid. No, it wasn't mid. It was, I think, the 3rd week in August last year, and it was just like everybody's lineup. It was just insane. And so we had a league vote. I said I can hold on to the money. We'll reapply it next year, and it barely passed, but it passed. Let's just keep going with the season and everything. And it's funny, the guy that eventually won it wanted to quit. So it's kind of funny how that works out. But it was just a headache. But it's fun. Who said this? Was this easy? Fantasy baseball people operate on a different bandwidth. It is time consuming. There's no other way to say that. Now, the difference between I don't sit here like this with my fantasy roster with baseball and everything because the times vary and all that stuff. But, when I'm doing my show prep at night, believe it or not, we idiots do things at night to prepare for a show of this magnitude. I have my game center on in front of me, and I'm looking at my roster, and I'm always keeping dibs on, marking players to put on my watch list and all that stuff.
And the big thing is like the baseball starters. So you miss somebody is hurt and doesn't and is supposed to pitch and doesn't, and you miss it.
MLB needs to do a better job of that. Period. MLB needs to do a better job of that, especially now that online gaming is here. Like MLB, you need to do a better job of your. And you know what the worst thing is, Scott? Sometimes they've been wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes they've been wrong.
Yeah.
Scott Bischoff is starting at first base today.
The projected goalie thing?
And you know what? So I put Scott in because he's a lefty and he's facing a righty, and then.
And he hits dingers.
Yeah, Mitch Moreland gets the start. And it's like, son of a gun. Hi, Easy. Look at this. Easy decided to take a swim. Yeah.
He's plunging.
Did you
Wow.
see the plunge? What up, Easy?
What about daily fantasy? Like FanDuel and DraftKings, like where you draft a roster? Would you do that in football going forward?
I've done it in the past. Last year I didn't want to do anything because of everything with COVID. I didn't want to do it.
I made up for it.
He does. He does a lot. I can see myself doing more of that. I might stay. I don't know if I'm going to keep both leagues because you're in one of my leagues and I'm in another league with dudes that, like, literally we've been doing it since 1989.
Holy shit.
I might keep one of the leagues just on principle, but I'm not sure because I really did. I enjoyed just sitting and watching the game. It was kind of like liberating after 30 plus years. You know.
It does alter the way you view games.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, I agree actually 100% on that one. Would you want to do a league like that? Like where you play each other like weekly, like you do in a normal league, but you just draft a new team every Sunday?
I've had a two league limit for about 13 years now, because there was a time, and I know you don't adhere to that. I remember one year I was in 7 different leagues, and I said, this is just stupid.
Yeah.
And it took away from my fun. So I did a mandated, probably around 2006. I said two leagues. That's it. That's it. One of my leagues is $1,000. But other than that,
what if we did like a Woodward Sports League? I mean, could you imagine beating Maz though?
I'm not in.
What about beating Joyce?
Oh, sorry.
Losing to Maz would be terrible.
You got
That's why you
Jared
don't
Goff.
play.
He threw 3 interceptions.
Absolutely. Kevin said, I hate NFL's, 90-minute active inactive list.
Yeah. 11:40 in the morning.
About 11:32, whatever it is. Yeah. And that's been my problem with baseball, though. But I got to admit, with baseball, it juices me for the season, because it's like, number one, I want to get to a game so badly. Like, I've said this for months. 2 things I really miss. I miss going to a movie theater. I miss, and I would give anything to be in a movie theater right now. Even with that unhealthy stuff they call butter, I would be lathered in that stuff, and I would be in a cool, air-conditioned room instead of this heat box. Because that's what this is. We're in a heat box right now. And instead of looking at people eat food, I could be sitting there going,
food.
With just that unhealthy. It's not butter. I don't know what it is. But it's so damn good they put on that popcorn. I miss movie theaters and I miss baseball games. Those are, seriously,
fair.
those are the 2
I
things
will throw concerts into the mix there.
Well,
I will.
We had that conversation, didn't
Scott,
we?
don't even. It's not even worth your time. Sean's way of thinking is, well, I saw Metallica one time. That's all that I need to see ever again. And it's like, Sean, let me take you to the machine shop. No, I don't like concerts. I can't even get.
That is a great place.
It is.
It really is.
And it's such a small room. You're not going to deal with DTE drunk guy.
You might deal with drunk. Oh my gosh!
It's too loud. My ears ring.
I will get you
headaches.
earplugs. I will get you
What are you,
earplugs.
70?
Yes.
You're embarrassing.
I'm serious. No more. I'm not joking. Okay, when GNR came back, what was that? 2016.
Back in my day,
I loved GNR. Right?
Did you wear an onion on your belt to the show?
I went to the GNR concert, and I'm not joking. It took me about 15 minutes to go, I don't belong here. I just don't. I don't belong.
The importance,
it's too loud.
the importance of smaller
It's hot.
shows, Sean. The importance of small shows.
But that makes it worse in my ears.
I'll get you earplugs and a couple Band-Aids.
Hey, aren't these great in concert? I'm sitting there with earplugs in my ear. These guys sound great.
No, I will tell you. Let me give you a little piece of advice. Earplugs for concerts is actually great because you can hear the sound better. I know that sounds weird. It gets rid of the crowd noise and focuses on the main noise. I wear earplugs at every show.
Truly?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're not BSing me?
No, I'm being serious.
No, it's 100%.
Yeah,
There's no
because
feedback.
It amplifies the sound when you don't have earplugs.
What do you think, Fish? I'm going to ask you. What do you think? How does the sound amplify in the aquarium?
It works pretty good.
Yeah? Do you like concerts?
No.
Oh my... I'm surrounded by freaking
Come on over,
ding-dongs.
Fish. You can come over. You swim that little tail over to my house, and you and I will watch sports, and I'll probably take a nap.
Hey, Scott, what do you do on opening day? You free?
Is there a band playing somewhere?
No, but yeah, I don't want to go to opening day with old man Sean.
Scott said everyone who works in radio has bad hearing from wearing cans for so long. Hearing loss is real and terrible. It hurts. I'm not joking. I was like, I don't belong here. I don't belong
that's
here.
why you put earplugs in.
I felt so
Back when I
old.
was young, I didn't do it because I wanted it to be really loud. But at this point in time, there are times when it's like, this is so loud, it's stupid not to.
Listen, and I want you to even...
System of a Down
You know who
may
was
have-
big back in my day? The Glenn Miller Orchestra. I wouldn't go see the Glenn Miller Orchestra. I wouldn't go see Glenn Miller and his orchestra. I wouldn't. If they announced Glenn Miller didn't really die in that plane crash, he's alive and he's putting on a concert.
back?
He's back. It's like Eddie and the Cruisers. He's back, right? Eddie lives.
Everyone talks about radio and how our ears are all bad. There's this magical thing called a volume knob. Do we just not know how to turn our headphones down?
Do you know what the problem is after years, though? Like, you keep churning it up.
That is true.
Because
you can't hear?
Yeah.
because you can't hear.
That's true.
And then all of a sudden, everything gets amplified, and it's just like it hurts. I'm not being funny. It hurts. Fish.
I love watching concerts at sporting events, but that's about it. Well, like if someone's doing a halftime show or a pregame
you're
show, I
into
love
that?
it.
Yeah, I told you. I've been to 2 Super Bowls, and when the halftime show started, it was time for me to go get food.
Yeah,
Because that was the one good thing. I knew in the hospitality room, everybody was going to be out, like at Ford Field. Everybody was out watching the Stones, right? I was like, this is a perfect time to go into the hospitality room.
Look at the comment.
And then I'm older. I'm 2 months older than Sister Jean. And then what happens is not only is there fresh food out in the hospitality room while everybody's watching the Rolling Stones, guess what? I don't get the dirty looks at how much I'm eating.
You don't feel judged?
I don't have the people like Scott say, what did you eat, 5 subs today? And so what if I did? I can do it, and nobody's going to judge me.
I wasn't judging you.
Nobody's going to judge me.
It's impressive.
2 things right now. For 1, we need to get someone to Photoshop your face over Sister Jean's. For 2, thank you, Fish. Why is Adam closing my door? Does he want me to die?
He might
no
after this
food,
morning.
barely any water, and hey, we're going to close the door in a hot box. At least bring me some weed.
Maybe he's trying to keep the gluten away from you.
God.
It's starting to waft in.
Do you know what it is? It's like Cool Head Luke. He's in the hot box right now.
I can't get a blunt. Make it hotter in here.
What we've got here is
Failure to communicate.
You got to start calling everybody boss now, okay? Art's been in the box. Art's been in the box for days.
I'm hot.
Scott said, think how long ago that Super Bowl in Detroit was and the fact that the Stones were supposed to have a tour this year. Yeah, I mean, it was over 15 years ago now. It was
crazy.
I mean, it was. I'm not joking, though. Everybody was like, oh, cool, the Stones are going out. So they all kind of congregated out to, like, where the little lookout is. And I was like, I'm going to eat. I can still tell you what I had to eat, too.
Real quick, before we go to break, I want an opinion on both of you guys. Then we'll go to break. The Stones, underrated, overrated?
I saw them in concert at Michigan State in '94, and Mick Jagger was like 700 years old then. I'm not joking. It was awesome. It was a great show in concert. Now, I'll take the Beatles all day over I love the Beatles. I think you guys, and the Beatles did break up before I was born, damn it. But no,
they did?
Yeah, they did. They broke up before I was born. But all jokes aside, I think the Stones in concert were a blast.
Okay.
I mean, it was now their music, is it a little overrated? I think so.
The only good song is Painted Black, so.
That's a great song.
I have never understood the love for the Rolling Stones, but I didn't stumble upon them at the right time in my life.
I come for your emotional rescue, though. I'll be your knight in shining armor.
Oh, God.
You started this.
I know, I'm so sorry. We could go to break now. No more lyrics.
You will be mine, you will be
No
mine.
James Blunt. No James Blunt.
Oh, no.
You're beautiful. Please
well,
make
you
it
know
stop.
what? Mick in that song does a little James Blunt. You
I know.
Is there nothing I can say, nothing I can do?
Oh, my ears. Now
I'm so in love with you.
Now I understand the radio earphone problem.
All right, we're here for your emotional rescue. Scott Bischoff, Sean Baligian. Did I mention I'm going on vacation? All right,
You
Woodward
made it loud and
Sports.
clear.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Hi. Hey, if you feel good about your interest rate because it's in the 3s, get over it and call Hall Financial because rates are now in the 2s. Be smart and make the call because you could be saving money. Hall Financial is fast, and they do all the heavy lifting for you. So go to davidhallmortgage.com to get started. D. Hall's been taking care of people for years, been a big friend to a lot of us in the business. He's going to take care of you as well. Hall Financial, lower payments, better options, more personal attention. What did Kevin say? What's the song talking about going to the drugstore buying a cherry pop?
No
Art,
clue.
help me out. Going to the drugstore buying a cherry pop?
Is that a Beatles song or a Rolling Stones song or something else?
Okay. I don't know.
I don't know either.
What did Jenna say? Hold on. Jenna said, I thought, my 8-year-old nephew loves the Stones and the Beatles right now. He'd go to either concert if he could.
I think he's talking about You Can't Always Get What You Want by the Stones.
I saw her today at the reception.
Now that's a good song.
A glass of wine in her hand. How do you not like Sympathy for the Devil?
Okay, so
It's a great song.
Paint It Black, Brown Sugar, Sympathy for the Devil. That's it.
Yeah.
And Eleanor Rigby beats all of those. Because Eleanor Rigby is the greatest Beatles song of all time.
I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to tell you what. Do you know what song I absolutely love? And it's funny with the Beatles because in my life I've changed my favorite Beatles song, but this has been my favorite Beatles song for a long time now. Because I want you, when I point this out to you, you're going to listen to it and you're never going to unhear it.
Okay.
You're never going to unhear it. You never give me your money. Okay? That's basically Paul singing a song about how their manager was ripping them off, and the other 3 Beatles didn't want to buy it. They thought Paul was the bad guy, but everybody knows that Alan Klein was ripping them off, and John begrudgingly a few years later had to admit Paul was right. I want you to listen to the guitar riff right before they go into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All good children. Led Zeppelin absolutely ripped off that riff. And Paul McCartney going, ma. It's the riff from Stairway to Heaven, and it's Robert Plant going, ma. You're never going to unhear it, I promise you.
So
like, I play it for people, and they go, holy shit. That's Stairway to Heaven. It is. You know the it's exactly what it is. I mean, it's like Jimmy Page said, I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn this into one of the most famous rock songs ever. So, like, you never give me your money is just, it's awesome.
Real quick, before we move to the next topic, and I don't mean to bring up bands and music and everything, overrated, underrated, we'll do one last one, and this drastically changes our friendship on this show.
Oh, no.
Pink Floyd.
As I've gotten older, I've appreciated Pink Floyd more and more.
But David Gilmour or Roger Waters?
David Gilmour.
Yes!
Close.
Look, Roger Waters is batshit crazy.
Yes.
So there's that.
Yes.
But I'll tell you, I saw him in concert, and he was awesome.
You went to the Wall?
No, whatever the concert was, it was like one of the last shows at Palace of Auburn Hills.
Yeah, it was probably Roger Waters'
I
Wall.
got high when I was 2 miles away from Auburn Hills.
They're the greatest.
I mean, there was so much dope there. Like, I'm not. We were in the car, and I was high 2 miles away.
They're the greatest rock band of all time.
What?
Pink Floyd?
Yeah, hands down.
The Everything Under the Sun Eclipse song is just like that song, and it's funny because it's only like 2 minutes long, but that's like a song I can listen to on loop. It's just it's a great tune. But I never appreciated them when I was younger, and now that I've gotten older, like I listen to them, and they're like, that's a good when we're driving down to the Keys tomorrow after getting to Miami. You could put that on and just be chill for a while.
Oh, listen to the song "Time."
Yes.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
just
profound.
listen.
I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff,
Listen to
it's
Dark
profound
Side of
stuff.
the Moon front to back.
Scott said Zeppelin ripped off a lot of bands.
Oh, yeah.
They did. I mean, they're great. Don't get me wrong. They're it was magic, but I mean, it's like you never give me your money is just like it's so blatant. It's like, wow, dude, have you know? And it's funny because you never give me your money's not like it's what do you kids call it? It's a deep track,
Right.
Like that. So
A
I'm not being
B-side.
snobby guy, but I love that tune. It's just like McCartney sounds so pissed off in that song too, which makes it funnier. It's like the only 2 songs where you can say that is maybe Helter Skelter and You Never Give Me Your Money. He just sounds pissed off, and it's like hearing Paul pissed off kind of because John's the pissed off one, right?
Yeah.
He's the cynic, he's the pissed off one, and so it's what kind of makes it funny. Don't get me started. See, you got me started.
You're in
already.
vacation mode, man.
Lynn said, "Sean, have a great vacation. We will miss you." Lynn is like my only fan, and I appreciate you, Lynn.
Are you going to start an OnlyFans?
I will remember you when it comes barbecue time.
Hey, Sean, we have a comment here on the YouTube. You just mentioned OnlyFans. Any chance of the fans getting an OnlyFans from you?
What do you?
You don't
He
know.
probably doesn't even know what it is.
He doesn't. And OnlyFans is a subscription service in which you can provide explicit pictures if you would like, and people subscribe to it. So maybe some WAP in those pictures. You know, just hey, you know.
You know
This
what?
just got weird.
I have been told that when we get together and we have the little barbecues at my house, it's like a form of food porn.
I believe
maybe
that.
I could do that. Like instead of like just putting it out for all to see, just go. No, I'm going to charge you.
$5 a month.
Yeah, I'm going to charge you. I remember in the summer you hit me up like out of the clear blue sky. I hadn't talked to Scott in a while, and like you hit me up. You're like, dude, you need to cut this out.
Yeah,
because like we were going every day at that point in time. Like it became a disease in the summer.
I had the barrel ass going. I was eating everything in sight.
Like every day we were like going, what are we going to do today? Let's do a Cajun turkey. And then what are we going to tomorrow? Forget tomorrow. Why don't we put something on right now? And 8 hours later we'd have a prime rib, whatever the case.
It was hard to look at that.
Yep, Scott said Helter Skelter was the Beatles writing a song louder than the Who's I Can See for Miles. Paul got pissed off and said because it was like a Time magazine that said the Who rocks loudest band, and Paul basically said, "Oh yeah," and so that's when they made Helter Skelter. What are you giggling at now?
I don't even know if I can say, and we have no like FCC regulations, but someone said that you could get. I don't know if I can. I'm just gonna say it. So if you've got kids around, butthole picture for $5 on Sean's OnlyFans.
Oh my god!
It just got really weird. It just made me laugh. I'm sorry.
Things got dark.
I'll show you my butt for $5.
$5. It's a deal.
Could you imagine $5 times 500? Because that's how many people you would have on your OnlyFans.
Oh my gosh.
Let's be honest though.
Talking my pork butt. Who's kidding who? 8.5
But
pounds
that's
of juicy
that's
goodness.
what the angle
Honey,
is.
I need you to take a picture for me.
Hey,
Come out
can
here and
you
take a picture of my butt.
Do you want to see my breast? And then it's chicken breast. You want to see my
It's
big
like the
hunk
whole
of meat?
sausage thing. When you guys were making fun of me last week, and it took me 10 minutes to figure out why you were making fun of me, but everybody in the room's going, I'm going, why are they laughing? What? Oh, I'm talking about how much I love meat, and sausages are good. I love smoking meat.
I think by the time you come back from vacation, we should have photoshopped OnlyFans, like what your page would look like. You holding two breasts,
Everybody's gonna
chicken
be mean.
breasts.
That's an open invite to mean, is what that is.
It really
You
is.
are cordially invited to be mean to
Yes.
Sean while he's in Florida.
Harass away.
Your host, Art, will be pleased to receive things.
Ryan on YouTube says, dude quoted my butthole comment.
Scott goes, $5, give him a couple CCs and he'll do it for free. Heck yeah.
That is probably true.
I'm going to have a few CCs tonight, as a matter of fact. It's been a while since we've been friends, so we're going to have Canadian Club, my rye. Absolutely love it. I forgot what we were even going to talk about. Oh,
Rashawn
sorry.
Slater. Kyle Pitts.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to do that when we come back? Because we have
Sure.
to break.
Yeah.
Art, we're going to stay on time, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Let's do that when we
You've
come
also
back.
have to cover Deshaun Watson if you'd like. So, a couple different options. So,
Do you really want to do that?
Yep.
You really do?
No.
That's what I thought. He's Scott Bischoff. I'm Sean Baligian. This is Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Oh, no.
I just want to go in the room and give that nice man a hug. That's what I.
With
That's
your
all
fist?
I want. I just want to walk in there and give him a nice. The guy looks like he needs a hug, right?
I'm really.
All right. So where do you want to go?
Where are we supposed to go? You want to talk about Deshaun Watson?
No,
It's your
it
show,
reeks.
wherever you want to go.
Is there? I'm sorry. The smell test.
Yeah, it's an odd situation.
It's a very odd situation.
And we'll move on.
Yeah.
Something to think about with the Lions at pick 7 is a very safe, conservative pick is a player like Rashawn Slater. Northwestern, offensive tackle, kind of a technician, moves his feet at an incredible level. Shorter arms, whether you buy into the concept, whether that matters or not, he moves his feet to the point where I'm not sure it does. Arm length is a feature of foot movement. If you have really long arms and you struggle to move your feet, it doesn't really matter because you're not playing with power. But if you can move your feet and keep your man in front of you, you're okay, even if you have shorter arms, which he does. He moves at a rare level for an offensive tackle. He played right tackle in Detroit. He would give you bookend tackles with Taylor Decker and Slater. You'd have Ragnow. You'd have Jonah Jackson. You'd be looking to fill one position at right guard, but it does stabilize things for Jared Goff. It is the kind of pick Bob Quinn would have made, because it's very much a kind of a sexy, a non-sexy, a very boring pick in round one. It just is. But it does, it's not a franchise-altering type of pick like if you were to take Kyle Pitts or Waddle or Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase. One of those guys is gonna elevate your franchise, or he's gonna bust. With Slater, it's he might make things a little more stable for you, but I could see them thinking he's more intriguing for us going forward than not, because he stabilizes the right side of the offensive line, and they need that.
I know, and I'm going to play this off of what Steve said. We want Larry on the show instead of Sean. At least he provides more optimism. And, I get it and all that. I always say my job isn't to tell you that everything is awesome. It's seriously. And, some guys live their life like that. It's fine. I take my job seriously. I'm going to tell you something. Am I overrating the offensive line with this team? Because that is one thing. I think this offensive line is this close to being awesome. I'm serious. I really do. Okay? Now let's go over it again. Taylor Decker, arguably the best center in the game, on an up-and-comer in Jonah Jackson. Let's say that's the pick they make. That's the pick they make.
Yeah.
Can the Lions jump from, there are nice pieces here, to an awesome line?
They can, but there's not depth there.
Yeah.
If Decker were to miss games, you'd be in trouble. If you don't take Slater and Decker misses games, you're in deep trouble.
Doo-doo. Yeah.
So that's kind of the mentality behind the Slater pick, is that if he can play right tackle, you think he can play left tackle. There's some security for injuries if he has to. Yeah. We talked earlier that they're going to have to do a good job of protecting Goff, of making things easy for him. Slater would do that. So yeah, I think as a starting group, it would take them to potentially being a very good offensive line, but they still don't have a lot of depth there. So that's where that is.
Jenna, you're invited to the barbecue too. Thank you. Jenna's nice. Thank you, Jenna. Art, you had your hand up. Did you have a question?
It's all the ladies who love you on this.
Wait a second. You didn't. You're betraying me? No, you had your hand up, and now you're betraying me.
No, I did, but it was just I was just going to ask, what do we need to do to get a great defensive end to where, we could get excited as fans like we were with Sue. You look at the impact that Sue had, and we talk about him, and we miss him so much, and there's no chance of him ever coming back now, basically. There's
nobody graded that way. I'll answer this for Scott. There's nobody graded that way this year. That doesn't mean that somebody can't develop.
Right.
That doesn't mean that the Lions can't take a guy in the second round that becomes a stud. Okay. Yeah. But just what the scouts are saying, and it isn't just him, you can look at pretty much any mock draft. There's a reason none of those guys are being listed highly on any mock draft.
But if we're not going to rely on Goff and his power as a quarterback and, the 50 million touchdowns he does every year, then we should try and get a defensive end to where we could get excited, to where when there are fans in the stands, when, Sue used to get those tackles, the fans went wild. If we're not going to be a great offensive team, we need to be an excellent defensive team.
They're so far away from being an excellent defensive team. You could take multiple defensive ends and
rebuild.
You could keep going on and on.
I know you guys don't want to hear it, but guys, if it looks like a rebuild and smells like a rebuild, it's a rebuild. Listen to him. Don't listen to me. I know I'm negative, all that stuff. Scott, what you just said is you perfectly summed it up. There are so many needs back there. You cannot, on the defensive side of the ball, you cannot possibly expect to be anything special anytime soon.
Even looking at it from a rosy perspective, there still are huge holes on that defensive roster. There just are. Even if you make the assumption that Oruwariye takes a leap and becomes a solid starting corner, and Okuda does and becomes a solid starting corner, you know what I mean?
The risk of maybe is still involved. You're dealing with the risk of
huge maybe.
No,
I mean even the most positive, the most optimistic view is still they have lots of holes and not enough picks to fill those holes, and you don't anticipate making a pick in round 3 and that guy coming in and lighting the world on fire in year 1. You just don't. That's not how it works.
Gosh, I love what Scott said. I'd rather be excited by a team that is building to a winner than get excited by 12 plays a year by a defensive end. And Scott, I'm serious. This is the one area where I'm not joking. For the first time in my lifetime, I honestly feel like the Detroit Lions get it. That they aren't telling you that there's something that they aren't.
The embrace of
like they are basically saying
going to take a while.
It's going to take a while, okay?
Yeah.
Because Bob was always this close. I heard it from Bob's own mouth, from me to Scott. Bob's told me in 2018, before the Patricia era even started, this close. Like that's I said, how close are you? He said this close. Okay? This is a franchise that from top to bottom, whether it be ego, whether it be delusion, it doesn't matter. This is a franchise that has not only lied to itself, but allowed people out there to lie for them.
So as he was telling you that, he was trying to trade for Rob Gronkowski and then pick the tight end at 8 overall.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's what we're dealing with. I mean, really, that's and again, guys, like you don't have to listen. They're basically telling you through their actions and making comments about, well, 2-3 years from now, that they're screaming, we're going to build this and we're going to build it right. And I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah.
Because you know what the alternative is? The last couple of years, where guys thought that the team was this close and the quarterback went down 1 year. So you could say, all right, that's tough. How many teams come back from that? And then the next year, last year, you absolutely suck. I mean, absolutely suck.
They did.
I mean, really. I mean, historically bad. I would rather have this all day, where I know these guys aren't trying to get it right in 2021. They're trying to get it right in 2023. These guys, the previous regime, were trying to get it right in 2017 and 2018 and 2019. And that's what
year by
2020.
year, trying to save their jobs.
And
sure.
So Scott, I think that's a great point. I think that's an absolutely great point. No doubt about that. All right, was there anything else? Didn't you want to hit on somebody else?
Some of the Kyle Pitts stuff, but we're okay.
All right, no. Do it. We have a couple minutes left.
Well, it's just, I would urge people out there to watch the Florida-Alabama game and pay attention to when he's lined up against Patrick Surtain, the cornerback from Alabama, and just watch what Pitts does to Surtain in that game. Surtain's going to be a top 15 pick.
That was a
top
game.
15 corner. And
You're talking about the SEC championship.
Yeah, watch what Pitts does to Surtain in that game. Just watch it. Report back.
Do you know what that reminds me of? I used to do Toledo football. The very first Mid-American Championship game was down in Huntington. Chad Pennington was the quarterback. Remember him?
Yep.
This guy named Randy Moss was the wide receiver.
I remember
And
him.
I told all my buddies that night, because the game was on ESPN, I said, you got to trust me when you watch this kid. He's sick. And you know what the first comment to me came from my buddies? Who's he playing against? And I go, oh, it's funny you should ask. Clarence Love, who will be in the NFL, mark my words, ended up being a third-round pick by the Raiders.
Yeah.
So he wasn't lighting up some scrub. He was lighting up a guy that went to the National Football League and played the National Football League. And it's funny when you say that. So that's what it reminded me of. All right, do we need anything else, Art? Okay, we're done? All right. Hey, Art, good luck this next week, okay? I know I'm not high on your list of favorites, but you know you're a favorite of mine.
I'm just BSing with you.
Go to the aquarium.
You know?
Oh. Let's go to the aquarium before we... Fish, have a great time. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, you too. It's 81 in here. For comparison, it is 80 degrees in Key West. Feels like 89.
That's perfect.
You don't get that information anywhere else. That's what Fish brings to the table. Thank you, Fish. Appreciate it.
Very welcome.
Hey, I wonder if it's colder on the sun right now. Can we check? Fish, can you pull those details up?
I will. I will pull them up.
It's a little warm in here.
Scott, thanks for sitting in the last couple of weeks. It was great.
Anytime.
I'm not going to talk to any of you the last week. I wish you a great week, but
enjoy your time
seriously,
away. We'll talk to you later.
Talk to you guys next Thursday, all right?
Can you say gang gang?
Gang, L-Town style.